If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump from the deep into the pool, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
Fuck up. Pray that shit don't fuck up on me, son.
Damn, son.
Yeah, son. Yeah, son.
You see me rolling. 18. I'm dirty. Okay, this is going to be good. Testicles, 1, 2. Testicles. Welcome back to Paranoid Radio Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Trebles Garcia, your humble host. I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Guys, we have an amazing episode lined up. Last minute call, fresh off the freaking press, man. We're cooking it live right now. This literally was recorded 30 to 40 minutes ago. Like, you guys don't understand the amount of passion and the amount of work. And mad shout-outs also to our wives, because without our wives, this whole production would just go to crap.
Facts.
Guys,
Facts.
I want to let you guys know that the most important thing that you can do for the show right now is word of mouth, and it's working. We're on YouTube. YouTube is growing. Whoever that is that we are reaching out on YouTube, check us out. And drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Guys, the show is growing, and this is your time. You could go watch our shows on YouTube, also on Rumble. Both channels are actually growing, but YouTube is, I don't want to say it's blowing up, but it has a steady growth, and we're very proud of that. Also, we're offering guys help. If you guys are contemplating or entertaining the idea of suicide, whatever it is that is bothering you, hit us up at paranoidradio.com, and the first thing you'll see it is a chat to speak your truth and lay your burdens on somebody else. It's a 24/7 lifeline. You want to chat, text, or call? That's absolutely free. And if you don't want to speak to anybody that's just random, you want to speak to us, you could hit me up. My phone number is associated directly with the Instagram account. You could find it. You could text me or call me. I'll do my best to help you with whatever I can. Guys, the point is to have a brotherhood. We don't need more parents, no more mothers, sisters, siblings, anything. We don't need anybody else offering themselves. You need people to communicate with and grow and live a healthy life. Also, if you guys have been paranormally activated, make sure you check out Cryptid Warfare Podcast. These guys have a specific tactical unit that help you eliminate those pesky little critters outside your house that are trying to eat your chickens or even you. Check them out, Cryptid Warfare. Cryptid Warfare Operations with Drewski, and also check out Ali Christine. She's gonna give you the tools to make your kids healthy again. I am now parasitic free. I've been doing it for about a month and a half, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I've never felt more energized and healthier, low bloating, and no heartburn. I could eat anything now, thank God. So it's actually really working, guys. I am a walking testimony, and by all means, I don't get paid to say this. Now, and check out Flavors of the Forest. You gotta season your meat before you eat, guys. Check them out, Flavors of the Forest, and thanks again for all the affiliations, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are loyal fans and loyal bays. People in Ireland, mad shout outs. I just had to take the time to thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. This means the world to me. So, all right, let's jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the fucking mood. Striking with iron is hot. Please give a warm welcome to my special guest. He's been here before. He is the co-host. He is the political analyst. The father. He is a patriot business owner. Flash for Flashy _ News One.
What's up, everybody? It's Flashy Tuesday, baby. Let's get it.
That does have a good sound to it. Now that you're on Tuesdays, you're not dropping bombs, bro.
Fuck it. Well, any day of the week, baby.
Where can people find you?
Over on Instagram. Got 800 new followers in the last couple weeks. So welcome to those people for the first time in the pod. Appreciate y'all. Stay tuned, man. We got something cooking.
I love it. Also, so you guys know what's really going on. Hey, where the fuck are the Black Pill accounts? Every single one of you that was talking schmack. The people that were comparing us to other pods and other news and media.
They've been blocking me, bro. Ultra Guard. I'm blocked now for no reason because they knew I was coming.
I don't know anybody that has been on point, unforgivingly on point, precise than freaking Flash. From the beginning, he started opening his mouth on this freaking show, bro. He's been early on most of this stuff. But let's jump in, bro. First of all, where can people find you? And then we're about to jump in.
Flashy_news1 on Instagram, also flashy_truth on True Social, and then Flashy News 14 on X as a backup. Check it out.
Damn, Bibi and Trump relationships. Let's fucking turn up the heat.
Wow, man, here we are, the place where we were told we would never be, right? By these black pill accounts, by MAGA, by non-MAGA, by the left. The left says that that Trump is a bootlicker, and then it's so funny. It's the woke right, right? It's the people on the right that really have the same shit to say as the people on the left now. The pro-Palestine, they're this, they're that, and they just regurgitate the shit that they hear on the internet, and so they're feeding each other, the left and the right, the anti-Trumpers that are both on the left and right, they're feeding each other bullshit, and then back and forth. And these black pill accounts are the ones that push it out. So congratulations, you played yourself, because now look like we are exactly where I said we would be, right? And it's actually happening a little bit faster than I thought, but that's because Bibi is just pushing harder and harder, and he's about to do some really crazy shit over in Gaza. He's about to just go in there hard. And I think now is a good time for Trump to make this stand, and this all really started. Well, this has always been the plan, right? The plan was for Trump to expose Israel the way that he's doing it. There's no other way to do it, right? To let them pretty much expose themselves, put the spotlight on them, watch what they do, watch how they operate, right? And then now the global opinion is shifting for the first time, I think, ever. Americans, all left, right, whatever, are against Israel. Right, and against what they're doing. So people are understanding, and I like to make the distinction, when we're talking about Israel, we're not talking about the Jews, we're not talking about all Jews, we're talking about the deep state of Israel, the
Mm-hmm.
government, Bibi Netanyahu, the people that are in control over there. Okay, it has nothing to do with the Jews. That's an extremely low IQ argument to say it's the Jews everywhere, all the Jews all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. Okay, that's a hate message that inflicts the mind, that infects the mind, and you lose common sense. And we watched it. I've warned about this for so long, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now what we're seeing, though, is this plan come to fruition, that Israel is for last, right? Because they do have so much power, they do have so much influence. Trump had to keep Bibi close, had to keep Israel close in order to get what he wanted to get, which was back in the White House, right? And you really needed Israel to do that, whether we like it or not. That's just the way it is, right? So, like I always, we did a whole segment on game theory, right? And I
Yes.
explained exactly what the whole relationship, why it looks this way, why it looks like Trump is friends with him, so. But if you listen to Trump's a lot of his old interviews, he called out Bibi many times on what Israel does. He knows exactly what's going on,
Yes,
right?
he
So
has. Mm-hmm.
so now there's reporting in the Jerusalem Post, which is like the New York Times in Israel, right? Very serious newspaper. People, on our side too, people that are close to the president, people that are close to the movement are reporting all the same thing, that Trump is pretty much cutting off all communications with Bibi because because he's trying to get peace done, right? He's trying to make these ceasefire deals. He's trying to get these hostages out, and Bibi's not trying to do that, because if this war ends, Bibi's going to have to go to jail. He's going to have to stand trial for his war crimes, and he knows that.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing that's protecting Bibi right now is the war. Literally is the war, right? The same as Zelensky, really, is the only thing that's protecting Zelensky's job is the war. So this is exactly why they're prolonging it at all costs. And Trump understands this, so he's not going to get bullied. Now, Mike Walls, the NSA director, that was Trump's national security advisor, I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
he was recently removed from that position and put over at the UN, which is pretty much Siberia, which is like, that's where he put Nikki Haley in the first administration, because he was secretly talking to Bibi behind Trump's back. Does
Mm-hmm.
that sound like someone that's controlled by Israel? That he fired a guy for talking to Israel behind his back? Do people understand like how ridiculous you sound now? And
Mm-hmm.
and and they base their whole account, their whole following, their whole everything on this one narrative, right? That Trump is controlled by big, and then they did selection bias, confirmation bias, taking
Oh
this
yeah.
story, taking that story, and I would always comment, you're leaving out this, you're leaving out that. What about this? What about I would get blocked? I would get blocked. And
Mm-hmm.
that guy Anthony Graffio, that guy that we had an argument with, that I was going to debate. His
Mm-hmm.
whole shit was, he loved Trump, and now he changed his whole shit to go say that Trump was controlled. And now look, right back to where he started, where he originally believed that Israel was for last and all this shit. And it's so funny that these people wanted everyone to believe them back when they were pro-Trump, and they understood what was going on. Now they completely turned their back on that whole thing, and they want people to believe them now, though, this time, that they really on it. Now they are. Now they got it, guys. But trust me this time, bro. No, I've never wavered. I've always been exactly the same, down the middle, not pro-Palestine, not pro-Israel, exactly what Trump was doing, what he was thinking, what he was going to do, when he was going to do it. I said,
Mhm.
be patient. And now look, we are seeing the separation of Bibi and Trump.
And Israel doesn't control shit, which pushes you to the
Bro,
next tip.
fuck
Yeah.
out of here, bro. And this is the thing. This is why it's such a low IQ argument to say that it's the Jews, it's Israel. Israel is not half as powerful as people think they are. They were for a while. They haven't been. They've been losing that grip. They have some influence over our government. Absolutely. We have defense treaties with them, so it's not like we can just cut it off whenever we want. But we have defense treaties with a lot of countries. We've given Ukraine over $350 billion in 4 years.
Don't forget that.
We give Israel $1 billion a year, and
Mhm.
we don't give them any. They buy weapons from us. So
Mhm.
there's no comparison here. Like, we want to really talk about who has a grip on our government for the last
Mhm.
4 years. It hardly was Israel, because if we think about it, Trump hasn't done shit for Israel besides some nice talk.
Mhm.
And he has continued the agreements that were already in place for the last decades. He hasn't
Mhm.
done anything for them. He hasn't gone to war for them. He hasn't bombed Iran. He hasn't done any of these things, right?
Mhm.
So this idea that no, but like we said, Trump had to play the game. He got a lot of big donations from a lot of Jews that he needed. He needed that money to
Mhm.
win the game, right? So, and now we're seeing the only thing that Israel had on his side really was the global opinion, was the Holocaust survivors and people feeling bad and this and that. But now they're losing that. They're losing the narrative, right? And that's what they were the best at, was that propaganda, was that narrative building, was all of that. You can't even question everything's anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic. All of
Yeah.
that's going away now. So now we are starting to see that Israel doesn't control a damn thing. They're losing everything over there. And I feel bad for the people because the government put them in this position.
A very important message because the tides have shifted and Trump continues to win and continues to make history, bro. Nothing more historical than this weekend so far,
Bro,
bro.
bro.
Starting with the famous, infamous Chinese trade deal. Hit it, bro.
Bro, and this people say,
Please, please.
it's so crazy to me. How are these people still considered experts? How are these people still considered? How do they even have a fucking job? Like, how do these people have a job still to go on television and tell the people what they think to be right, when we've seen they've been wrong about not just about Trump's policies, about Trump's everything from what he feels, what his intentions are, what he's really going to do. Everything has been wrong. And you know what I mean? And a lot of them, they're paid to be wrong, but a lot of them just get it wrong because they have Trump derangement syndrome. And when you have Trump derangement syndrome, it completely blocks you from the actual facts, right? You live in a completely separate world. And
They
like
do.
I sat here and I said, this is what the media was doing, that they're trying to instill this fear, right? To create the recession, to create the reality that they wanted. They felt that if
Yes.
they could just
Reminds me of
convince.
COVID.
Exactly, bro. It's the same fucking playbook, right? So if they can convince enough billionaires and the people that make the money and make the moves to sell, to panic, to not invest, then yeah, that'll affect the economy. So literally, we watch the media, the Democrats collude in order to bring down this country's economy and the stock market and everyone's 401ks and all of that. And then now when Trump wants to cut taxes, close the border, now it's a fucking national emergency. No, 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 no. The $36 trillion in debt was a national emergency. The
Bam.
overtaxing of corporations was a national emergency, because that goes to the consumers. When you raise taxes on corporations, they raise taxes on the consumers. Now they said that tariffs were going to raise prices. Bro, the tariffs been in place for how long? Not one. I own a grocery store. Everything is down. Egg prices, everything from fucking cookies to bread to eggs to milk to everything is down, right?
From the
And now they
horse's
said that
mouth.
the Chinese tariffs were really gonna fuck everything up. And I said, yo, be patient. Before those tariffs even hit, China's gonna come to the table, because they're
Yes.
losing
Because
10
they
million
can't. Yeah.
jobs. And
Mhm.
people were in the streets. And exactly like I said, that was going to take place. And Trump knows that. Trump knows that is leverage. Trump is a businessman. He is a deal maker. He understands leverage, and that we had all of the leverage, and he's not afraid to put his big nuts on the fucking counter and show the Chinese government that it's America who's going to make the decisions from now on. You're not going to dictate to us any longer what the terms are going to be. You've been killing 100,000 of our fucking young Americans. You've been stealing our intellectual property. You've been spying through Canada and through Cuba, all this shit. Nah, those days are dead, bro.
Mm.
So if we don't want to do reparations, which I think China owes us trillions of dollars because of COVID, That's okay. We're going to get it in a different way with a new trade deal. So Scott Bessent, the Secretary of Treasury, went down to Switzerland with a couple other advisors. They met with the
Oh
Chinese
yeah.
top
Oh
people.
yeah.
They sat down 2 days, boom, completely reset the China trade agreements. Completely. We don't have the details yet, but they have enough of a deal that they lowered their tariffs on us. We lowered their tariffs on them. We still have 50% tariffs, so people forget. He put them down 115%. They were at
Word.
145%.
Yup.
Then we still have the 10% tariffs for the fentanyl. And then we still have all of the other tariffs, the steel tariffs. We still have the automobile tariffs. We still have. So we're still going to be picking in billions and billions of dollars from China just off the tariffs. And now the whole reason for this trade reset was because they sell all of their shit to us. They barely take any of our shit to them, right? We had a $1.3 trillion trade deficit a year with China. That's what the national emergency was. That's why Trump said it was a national emergency, what gave him the power to use tariffs because we're in a national emergency. Normally, Congress would have that power, but you want to use national emergencies, we could use them too. Fuck out of here, right? That was a
Word.
national emergency. So Trump took the reins, made this new deal. Now we are going to sell our farm products into China, another 1.4 billion people, right? And market, huge market, the biggest market in the world next to India. Now we're going to do a normal with India. We're not gonna
Oh.
have enough shit to even sell people, bro. We're gonna have to hire so many more. All these farmers, all these companies are gonna have to hire so many, bro. And then now, so yeah, we'll get to Middle East later, but this is what we're talking about, bro. And all it took was 60 days. That's all I
And
said. Let the man cook.
he said on the 8th, we have a ground breaking announcement. He puts it out. The Pope gets elected. The Pope's American, by the way. You gotta give a shout out to that.
Interesting.
You know,
Yep.
interesting. A lot of things happen on the 8th, which brings me back to all the stuff that you have, predicted on the 8th of every single month. Very big situation here. And then he also achieved for India and Pakistan to have a ceasefire. Talk to me, dog.
Bro, and people don't understand that Pakistan and India both are nuclear powered countries, right? And we just made this huge trade deal with India. Like we don't need another war breaking out, right? And so Trump literally got on the phone with Marco Rubio, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, who's been amazing. I've been pleasantly surprised with Marco Rubio. They literally stopped a nuclear war. I don't know
And
how.
knowing people that have religious matters tied into it, like their emotions
All that shit,
the
bro.
war was basically ran on emotion. Guess what's
Yeah.
gonna happen, bro? The first thing they're gonna use is their bombs.
Oh,
So
they were threatening that's where this was going. You know, they didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? They were like, yeah, bro, this is what we're doing. Like, we're gonna drop nukes. Trump picked up that phone, bro, and I mean, he damn well should get the Nobel Peace Prize for this. I mean, I don't know how he doesn't. And then now he's forcing Ukraine and Russia to have a meeting in Turkey coming up on next Monday. So I mean, this is trade deals, peace deals, tax cuts. This is how it's not hard, bro.
dog,
This
I'm
shit ain't
gonna
hard,
tell you
bro.
something. That UK deal really amazed me, bro. Give me the details on that.
Bro, that would, and people don't even know that we've been trying to make that deal with the UK for a long time because they left the European Union. They left Brexit. They separated. You know, UK is no longer a part of the European Union, so they can make their own trade deals. They don't have to get permission or whatever. And ever since
Word.
they did that, it's just been impossible because they have had so much tumultual politics over there. You know, the right wing was in charge, not the left wing, and it's like, they're a fucking mess over there. So, now all of a sudden though, Trump gets involved. Boom, they have a deal. I didn't even know that was going to be the first deal. I didn't even know they were negotiating that shit,
Surprisingly, huh? How
bro.
the
Like that, bro.
2015 Brexit actually helped.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And then now they lowered their tariffs on us. They had all these tariffs on our automobiles, on our beef products, all this shit. They lowered their tariffs. We upped ours to 10, right? We still have 10% tariffs on them, but now they're going to take our beef, they're going to take our farm products, they're going to take our automobiles, and vice versa. They can send some of their automobiles tariff free on this end. So this is and trade deals are peace deals. You know what I mean? So like no matter what's going on over there, if you have a good trade deal, and see the thing is that what's so important about opening their markets too is that if we have reciprocal trade, that means you're relying on us as much as we're relying on you.
Yeah.
Right? China has so much advantage over us because they sell us so much of our shit, our pharmaceuticals, our PPE, our face masks, our gloves. During COVID, they sell all that shit, right? They sell our steel. They were literally selling us the steel that we build our fucking ships with. How do we know
Word.
that they don't fucking, there's a little tracker in there or whatever it is? You know what I mean? So this is the point of having fair reciprocal trade, because then if you're relying on us as much as we're relying on you, you're less likely to do shady shit, because if we find out, we're gonna cut you off.
Oh
right? Because
yeah.
that's now China thinks they can do whatever they want because they had all this leverage on us, right? We can't do nothing to China. Oh, they're going to cut all rare earth minerals. Oh, they're going to cut us off of this. They're going to cut us off
Mm-hmm.
of that. The pharmaceuticals. Okay, now that's why we're reshoring our pharmaceuticals. Trump just put a tariff on the pharmaceutical companies to force them to build their factories here. We should be making
Oh,
our
oh,
own medicine. We should be making
oh.
our own steel.
Didn't
That's
he
why.
also cut pharmaceutical slash
Yep.
prices
Yep, that's the
50%?
but let's talk about that executive order, bro, because that's a big one, bro, right there. And then so at the same time, you're gonna reshore all this stuff. We're gonna make our own steel here. We're gonna make our own manufacturing stuff that's really important here, right? Because God forbid we get into a war with somebody, we got to be able to make our own shit, right? So now this EU, but the pharmaceuticals, the Democrats have been trying to do this for how long? Lower pharmaceutical prices, right? So what Trump did is he wrote an executive order, favored nation policy, right? So right now, what's going on is that American citizens pay 75% more for drugs than any other place in the world. That's why they don't have to pay. We pay so they don't
For
have
their
to pay.
defense.
The
Mm-hmm.
same thing. That's why they get to have free healthcare because we pay
Mm-hmm.
for the Air Force in Canada. We pay for
Mm-hmm.
NATO. We pay for more everything. So now we were paying for the research and development of the prescription drugs. That's why we pay so much more so that they can go make new drugs or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
all in London, even like well established rich countries like London and Europe are paying pennies on the dollar for say like an insulin. Say it's $5 in London, it's $1,000 here, and
Yeah,
that's
it
why it's
is.
$5 in London because it's $1,000 here. So Trump said, "Fuck that." What we're gonna do is we're gonna even it all out. Everybody else is gonna pay a little bit more, so now we can pay less, and that everybody can pay the same. Now, some poor countries obviously will help them. That's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to like fucking Europe and why should we be paying any? They're just as rich of a country as we are. Fuck out of here. If not, if and
Mm-hmm.
our health is actually way worse right now. So
Mm-hmm.
this is huge, bro. And now the Democrats are gonna find a way to hate this. This is this is insane, right?
It's
So
funny because the Democrats have a lot of sick people with the mental illness. I'm just saying.
bro, yeah, right. You got, yeah, they're good. They're gonna fucking save the most money. They're on the most drugs for sure, bro. Like, bro, what an amazing executive order, though, bro, to give power back to the people. And this is how you stimulate an economy without printing $1,
Thank
because
you.
printing dollars is what causes inflation. That's why we have inflation because they printed $7 trillion in like 2 years under Biden, stimulated the economy, gave everybody checks, gave everybody money. Okay, yeah, great. Now there's too much money chasing not a few products. Now, if we build all the products here and we lower the cash flow, inflation drops, deflation drops, everything drops, boom, boom, boom. And that's exactly what's already happening. So the tariffs weren't inflationary, they were actually deflationary because it actually stopped people just chill for a second. Don't go waste your money on dumb shit. Hold on to it. Let us produce more products at home, right? And then now we're going to give you your own money back instead of creating money out of thin air. No, we're going to cut your taxes. We're going to cut your overtime. We're going to do all these things to stimulate your pocket with your own money without creating a dollar. And now,
Thank you.
and it hasn't even started yet, bro. And we're already seeing the effects. $10 trillion has been invested in the last 100 days from foreign governments, from foreign, or these chip companies. Mercedes Benz is going to build it. They're going to start building their cars here. Jaguar is going to start building their cars here, bro. These are high middle class paying jobs that give you stock options, that give you health care, that are $130,000 a year
Yes.
jobs. And
That
this
means
is
your health insurance is going to go down too because health
bro,
insurance,
yep,
think about
because
the
because
AIDS,
they
the
pay for
elder.
drugs and because
Yes.
the insurance pays for the drugs. If the drugs come down, everything's gonna come down, bro. Your mortgage rates,
I have
everything.
to pay for my health insurance through my job, through my work, and through my employer. And now just recently, 2 months ago, I got the order that I have to start paying for my little one. So I have to
Mhm.
start paying for my little one's medical card so that she
Yep,
could go to the clinic whenever she gets sick. It's
yep.
and I'm paying a lot of money, bro, for this little girl, dude. That's healthy as hell. So what I'm saying is that's gonna benefit a lot of people's pocket, bro.
Hell yeah, bro.
From
And
dental
and and, and
division
it's
to
all
everything.
the low people making the least money are going to benefit the most, and that's exactly the opposite of what they said. Oh, it's a tax break for the rich. He's buddies in the rich, bro.
Shut the
Everything
fuck
he's
up.
doing is for
Word.
people making under 200 grand a year. That's
Yeah.
he's even talking about raising taxes a little bit on people making more than 2 million a year, raising taxes on the rich. Oh my god. What? That would be fucking unheard of for a Republican to do. It's because Trump's not a Republican. Been trying to fucking tell y'all, right? Trying to tell y'all.
So I thought talking about cutting prices and slashing taxes. New Surgeon General, huh?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. This
Oh.
this is a good one. So the original Surgeon General pick, I was very confused about. She was like a Fox News doctor that went on there that said mask your kid and during COVID and all this shit. Very odd pick. But then I guess finally someone got to Trump and told him, and he switched her out at the last minute. Now we have Casey Means, who she's become pretty famous after going on Tucker Carlson with her brother, Kaylin Means. They both are graduate from Stanford University. She graduated at the top of her class. She's a neck and head surgeon, but she quit because she slowly started to realize that she was being taught not to heal people, but to treat them, their symptoms, and about, just using pharmaceutical drugs. And she
She's
never
been
learned
very
anything
vocal about that.
and anything about nutrition. She never taught, and she completely called out the whole medical industry. She called out all the medical schools, and I think it's a great pick. I mean, she's a brilliant woman. People are now getting on her because she's not a licensed doctor anymore. That's because she stopped seeing patients because she doesn't believe in the system anymore. That's
Word.
exactly why we like her.
Doesn't
Because
mean
she's
she's
not.
not qualified or doesn't have her
No, she was
credentials.
at the top of her fucking game, and now people on the right, like Laura Loomer, all these people that try to like find things about Trump's picks, about what's wrong. They find something wrong about but nobody's fucking perfect, bro. They're getting on her for dropping out of school and for taking mushrooms to help her depression. I'm like, yo, that's that's what we want. We want alternative plant medicines. We don't want fucking the same bullshit fucking shit from the pharmaceutical industry. No, we want someone that thinks outside the box, like RFK. Someone that is into all that other alternative stuff. So I think it's great. She's really really fine tuned with nutrition and ultra processed food. She's like totally on board with that. So now we see the team forming, right? The RFK. Now we have Bakari at the FDA and the guy at the NIH. All these guys that were all outspoken about COVID, that all called Fauci a liar, that all fucking spoke out, were the only ones that spoke out during COVID that were in positions of power and were slash experts. They lost their jobs because of it. They really sacrificed something. So that's why we can look back now and see these people are the real deal. Because who were they when shit got hot? Who were they when fucking shit was against them? Now we see them for who they really are. These people were true patriots. They stood in the breach. They're probably even Democrats, but at this point, doesn't your health doesn't matter, bro. Like if it's a Democrat, we just want the best people saying the best things. That's all we want. And I think fucking Trump put together a hell of a team, bro. And we're seeing he can't do it alone. You know what I mean? We're seeing a tightly formed team. There's no fucking bullshit leaks anymore. There's no shady business going on. There's no, no fucking getting butt fucked on the Senate floor like these fucking people. Remember when Biden's
Oh
staffers
my
were getting,
God,
bro? People
dude.
forget how crazy this shit was, bro, under
Bro,
Biden.
you can't forget that there was found fucking coke in the White House.
That
They
too, right?
found
Come on,
there
bro.
was fucking congressmen getting fucked
Come
downstairs in
on,
the
bro.
Capitol building,
Come
bro.
on.
Did you forget what kind of a circus this was, dog?
My
Satanic, man. It was
God,
fucking
bro.
satanic.
Come
All right.
on.
Talking about this is going around and people, dude, I swear to God, he drops something weekly to stay in people's mouths every day. The plane, the Middle East trip. This happened hours ago. Talk to me.
Yeah, so this is a big trip. So right now he's over in Saudi Arabia meeting the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, who I respect a lot because he's really trying to progress his people. About the women being able to learn and taking off their
Oh
face
yeah,
stuff,
fair,
and
they're actually using fair jobs out there right now. Women are
yeah,
actually
no,
getting jobs. No
yeah,
more
yeah,
things on their
it's like
heads.
a booming economy, bro. They don't tax their people. I mean, you can't like drink, smoke, you can't like do shit like that, but whatever, and it's just becoming like a more progressive place, like more like normalized, I guess. And Trump seems to be very close with the prince. And this goes back to his first administration. They were taking on the deep state together. They actually tried to kill the prince. That's what happened at the Las Vegas fucking shooting at the
Whoa.
casino. They were actually going after he was there, the prince was there. They were trying to assassinate him. They failed, and then they did all that as a distraction. They started shooting people from there. They were in helicopters and shit. Like there was like a whole thing, right? So anyway, so Trump is like, really close with this guy because he's trying to take on the deep state in the Middle East while Trump takes on the deep state over on our side of the world. So he's definitely a power player in that sense. And they just signed a $600 billion investment. Saudi Arabia is going to invest $600 billion. They also are going to produce more oil to lower gas prices in America.
And that's almost 80% of their economy, only oil, bro.
Oh yeah,
So
right. And for them
this is
to
why they're
do
trying to
that, yeah,
expand.
right. And then now, this ties back to Israel too, though, because now Trump was trying to normalize between Saudi Arabia and Israel, because they feel that if they do that, it'll put pressure on Iran to do what they want them to do. If Iran feels like it doesn't have any friends in the area, that they're losing Saudi Arabia now, Jordan, Egypt, they're all going to recognize. So but this is all about peace. Because if you can create these relationships, that creates peace. If you can create trade agreements, that creates peace. Because you're both countries are now invested in each other, right? They're invested in each other's economy and each other's well-being. So I think that's why that's where Trump becomes this deal making becomes peacemaking, because they go hand in hand, right? But the Abraham Accords in the first administration, he normalized ties between Jordan and Israel, and but Bibi doesn't want this, so that's why Trump's putting the pressure on Bibi now, because Bibi doesn't want. He wants war. He wants to take over Yemen. He wants to take over Syria. He doesn't want to normalize these places. So that's why Trump's going to make him look like a leopard. He's going to be like, bro, look, we're doing all this shit over here, and look, you're fucking talking crazy still. I'm trying to take.
Yeah, you're still talking crazy. That
Like,
was with
fuck out of
Biden
here, bro.
stuff. Like, it's not that time anymore, bro.
Stop, fuck out of here, bro. So
Yeah.
this is huge, bro. So now we're making all these peace deals in the Middle East. We're making all these deals, and we're making new trade deals over in Europe and China, bro. This is global peace,
Bro.
through real trade, through fair trade. When you have fair trade, it will produce peace, bro. By the end of these 4 years, we're gonna have a whole new trade deal with the whole world. Countries that never talk to each other are gonna be talking to each other. We're gonna see, but then sovereignty is gonna reign. Each country will have their sovereignty, but it will have free trade with other countries.
It's going to be a global reconstruction.
It's the new world order, the one that we're supposed to be, where each country makes its own destiny, makes its own determinations. There's not one world government. There's not one person making all the calls. No, the people reign with the power. The people will reign free. They want a democracy. You want to live however you want to live. We're not going to tell you how to live, but we're going to do what we can to help you prosper through free trade deals. That's what we can do.
And can you please explain who gave him the plane, whose plane it is today, and whose will it be after? Because people think it's Trump's and it's enriching him. Oh
right,
God, dude!
This was a gift from Qatar to the government of the United States,
to the Defense Department. Yep.
And this is because Trump's plane. He's waiting for it. We were supposed to have the new plane, the new president. Air Force One. That was supposed to be made in the first term. They fucked it up. Biden never forced the contract, so they never made it. So it's late. And the one he's using now is 40 years old. It's an old. It's not, not, the technology isn't up to speed with the way he wants it, the way he needs it. So instead of either flying that plane, which he says it's not good enough to fly. He's the president of the United States. He should have the top tier shit. Qatar's going to let him borrow their plane while the other plane is being made. So either if the plane's made, the new Air Force One, then they'll give it back and he'll start using that. Or if by the end of his term, it's not made yet, he'll just use the one from Qatar, and then once it's done, he gives it back. Nobody's taking a plane. It's for his presidential duties. It's not for his personal life. He doesn't get to keep it once he's done.
He's not going to use it after. And even if it stays in the government, it's going to go to his library where all the other presidents have a bunch of other things, bro.
Exactly. And honestly, I think he's doing this as a big middle finger to Israel and Netanyahu. I think that's because Qatar is an enemy of Israel. I mean, they fund Hamas. They do a lot of shady shit. They kind of play both sides. They have good relationship with us. They have good relationships with Iran. So they're actually a good middleman to get things done with people that normally wouldn't even talk to us. You know what I mean? So like Qatar was the one who forced Hamas to release that American citizen today, the Alexander from Israel, from captive. So they do so it's a give and take relationship. But Qatar owes us a lot of shit too, because we help them with intelligence. We have a CIA headquarters over there. So it's a favor. It's a good gesture. It's a nice gesture, and it's also a big middle finger to Bibi. And people say, oh, he's going to do a favor for the Qatar needs nothing from us. We need really nothing from Qatar. They're rich as fuck. They have their own shit going on. There's nothing that they could offer Trump that there's no quid pro quo here. There's nothing to gain. There's nothing to lose. It's just a favor, man. Like sometimes, and that's why Trump's being so transparent.
He once said, like, dude, when somebody gives you a pun, just take the pun, bro.
Bro.
Say thank you and walk away with it
all the time. We get people shit, free
Why
shit
not
all the time. Finally, somebody's giving us some fucking free shit, bro. Yeah, we'll take it. Right,
that's beautiful. That is beautiful, man. You guys are freaking retarded. Make sure to check out Flash. Let them know where they can find you, bro.
Let's go, man. Over on Instagram, Flashy_News1. Hell of an episode, brother. Let's get it, man.
This was an amazing episode. Dude, the amount of information we pushed out in the last 30 minutes was great, bro. Make sure you check him out, Flash_News1, guys. He's on the description of the show. He's also on the drop-down menu of special guests and links on paranoidradio.com. Do not forget to share the show. Share the snippets. If you guys are already following us on Instagram, share. Bro, I'm shadow banned. I can't take that freaking flag off. It's only up to you for people to see this, bro. If you have information, you want to get the information out to people that are freaking you're trying to convert, or at least trying to battle them out of the freaking nonsense that the left is pushing out. This is your moment, bro. Be part of Paranoid and push this information out. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcast and on Spotify.
Force
allows
multipliers. Be force multipliers.
That's right. That's right. And don't forget that word of mouth is the most important thing. Check us out, paranoidradio.com, guys. Check us out. Again, peace, love, and respect. See you later, guys.